I want to tell you about the big board. And the big board is where stocks are listed in any exchange. It used to be that there would be these chalkboards in little offices all over North America, and people would write quotations on them in chalk. And that was the big board. It didn't matter how big it was. It could be a 4x8 like this and have 20 stocks on it. Or there was regional stock exchanges all over. Every city had one, big cities. And there was, they were elevated walkways that guys would run back and forth and mark the quotations, and floor traders would yell out. The rule was you had to yell in an audible voice so everybody in the whole room could hear the trade. And then these guys would write it on the board. So that's kind of where I got the bug. I used to go sit in the gallery and watch this. So anyway, here's the big board. This is the big board in this game. It's where the prices of the stocks are listed. I want to tell you about the increments here. These increments are called ticks. The amount on the yellow or the red die are also ticks. By the way, I didn't say this before, but the name for this quartet of indicators, that's called the market trend indicator. It has a name, the market trend indicator, because it's giving you the trend. This die here gives you the magnitude. So this is an important thing in terms of the trend. Now, when you start the game, they are at issue, which means where everything starts off. When a stock is listed, it's listed at issue. So when it goes up to the when it goes as these we talked about this market trend indicator and how it affects the big board. When a stock goes up here to split, that's a cash split. Like, there's different kinds of splits. There are splits that are stock splits, and what they do is they make more stock and the value of the stock drops in half, say. Yeah, that's a 1-for-1. But this is a cash split, is another kind of split. So what happens is it goes up here to split. Any of these go up here. And then what happens is they get revalued back to issue, and that difference is $1 a share. So anybody holding those shares gets $1 a share. Every player who has yellow company in that circumstance would get $1 a share, no matter if they're common or preferred. Now, if it goes down here to bankruptcy, it means the shares are worth 0. And you turn your shares in, you turn your debentures in because they're not secured, you turn in all your common directorships. You don't lose your escrow, but all those things are toast. They're done. So what happens then is it gets revalued back to issue again. So that's what happens in these companies because they're a lesser quality type company. These are supposed to be a better quality company. So what happens when they go down here to rollback, what happens is they get rolled back, which means it's a reverse split. Means if you had 2 shares down here and it goes back to issue, you have 1 share. You haven't lost anything in dollar value, but the number of shares you have is cut in half. And if that affects your directorships, well, you have to turn in directorships. I mean, common directorships. I want to talk to you about delisting. When a stock is delisted, it will be delisted by a time card. And yellow and blue company are the ones that get delisted. What happens is you remove the marker from the board, and then it stays off the board until the beginning of the new year. Then it comes back on at issue. It gets delisted wherever it was, doesn't matter. It comes back at issue at the beginning of the next year. So that is the mechanics of the big board as far as stock splits. I mean, they're cash splits, they're not stock splits. Bankruptcies and rollbacks, and how issue works.